The last time I almost left my carry gun at home, it wasn't because I stopped trusting it. I just hated wearing it in Texas heat, with a cheap holster chewing a groove in my side. That same week, I stood in a gas station parking lot, watching two guys argue way too close to my car door. The only reason I felt halfway calm was because the gun I'd almost left on the dresser was actually on my belt. That night, epic stopped meaning cool slide cuts and range counter bragging. Now, it started meaning a pistol that disappears under a t-shirt, points straight when my hands shake, and never talks me into leaving it at home. One carry gun got fired from my holster after that, and one of these 5 pistols took its place and never left my waist in 2026. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which gun earned that spot and which ones are good enough that I'd tell you to carry them too. Afternoon outside Fort Worth, sky washed out, air heavy. My buddy had a U-Haul crooked in the yard, ramp down, boxes everywhere. On my dresser, I had 2 guns. The little easy carry I grabbed for milk runs, and the Hellcat Pro. I picked up the small one, remembered nights where it felt small, set it down, and fed the Hellcat into a belt. All day, it stayed there. Up the ramp, down the ramp, hip on door frames, shirt stuck to my back. I waited for the moment it would chew into my side and end up in the console. It never got that far. In truck windows, the Hellcat was just a blur under a t-shirt, sitting where I'd planted it. On the way home, we rolled into a crowded Quick Trip. I stepped out cooked, drink in one hand, card in the other. A guy peeled off from a pump and walked straight at me, talking fast about gas money. My left hand parked the bottle on the roof. My right cleared my shirt, thumb slipping on sweat and cotton before it locked on the Hellcat's grip. He walked off. Pumps hummed, and that half-second rode back with me. I kept the Hellcat Pro in my carry line after that, but every time I clip it on, that Quick Trip lot comes back with it. Months ago, I had one of those nothing Saturdays, no range day, no drive, just boring errands with the Glock 43X under a t-shirt, appendix carry. Keys in my mouth, receipt in a pocket, phone in one hand, cart in the other. The gun felt like a flat bruise against my ribs. Easy to forget until it wasn't. In the cleaning aisle, it got crowded. Cart stopped behind me. Older lady reaching past my shoulder. Some guy squeezing through sideways, bumping my cart and mumbling. Everybody was close enough to smell. My elbow pinned to my side, wrist rolled, and I could feel the 43X there, grip pointed where my hand planned to go. No draw, no speech, just that quiet check. On the way home, I dropped the tailgate, propped a cardboard box up, and ran a few fast draws from that same t-shirt. The skinny grip snapped into the same locked angle, sights landing where my eyes were already staring. That night, when I stripped the 43X off and let it fall into the chair, I saw that narrow lane again. When the world presses in close, this is the gun my body remembers first. The next one up is what I reach for when I expect it not to stay that close. For a long time, the M&P 9 Shield Plus was the gun I dragged along but never chose to wear. It lived in a cheap glove box holster, bounced in a backpack, loaned to buddies who forgot their pistol. Always there, never trusted. One weeknight, I didn't have a choice. My usual carry was torn down on the bench, so the Shield rode appendix while I met a friend at a diner off the highway. When we walked out, the lot was half empty. 2 guys near my truck talking low. My stride shortened. Hand slid under my shirt, elbow pinning the gun in. The shield's frame sat trapped between my ribs and forearm, easy to lock down while I watched their hands in close distance. They peeled off into another car. Nothing happened. The walk to my door still felt twice as long. 2 days later, I took that same gun and holster to the range and ran draws at parking lot distance. Somewhere between the first ugly strings and the last clean pair, the shield stopped feeling like a spare and started slipping into the weeknight slot. I still see that diner lot when I cinch the holster down. And when the pavement looks rougher than that place, there's a louder, uglier pistol sitting higher on this list. The Taurus G2C is the pistol I never brag about but still reach for when a drive feels wrong. Finish thin, grip chewed up, Kydex shiny from riding in truck doors. People laugh at it, and that's the same gun I clipped on the night I had to cut across the rough side of town after work. I rolled into a long red with nobody behind me, and an old sedan easing too close on my side. Pawn shops and liquor stores glowing in the mirrors. Windows down, bass rattling the glass, 3 silhouettes up front, one leaning out and staring through my windshield. My right hand came off the wheel and slid under my shirt, palm grinding into that Taurus grip, while the light refused to change. When it finally flipped, their car hung there a beat too long, then drifted off. Back home, the G2C hit the kitchen table with dust on the sights and sweat on the slide. I stripped it open, expecting something to look wrong, and found the same beat-up pistol that's eaten junk ammo and hot summers without quitting. I own cleaner guns. I own smoother guns. But when the road feels like that light, this is the one that goes on. And the last pistol on this list is the one that finally took that kind of trust and made it easier to live with. And most mornings, the SIG P365X Macro sat on my belt before the coffee hit. Same holster, same notch in the belt. Wallet, keys, lunch, gun. Some weeks, it lived on my hip more than any other pistol I owned. One of those weeks, I ran late on the highway outside Fort Worth. Fast lane pinned behind a truck when everything ahead blew sideways. A car cut across 2 lanes and buried into the shoulder, doors flying open, 2 guys spilling out and yelling at a third. Nowhere to go. Concrete on the left, car stacking on the right, my lane crawling past 10 yards off their mess. My right hand came off the wheel and dropped to the X Macro. The gun sat flat under the seatbelt. Grip where my hand expected. No shift, no fight. I rolled past, watching hands and shoulders through glass, waiting for one of them to spill into my lane. Nothing crossed the white line. That weekend, I took the X Macro and nothing else. Draws from concealment, reloads, mags in the gravel, slide hot. By the time the sun slid down, my hands felt cooked, and the pistol still felt like the only steady thing I brought. Other guns waited in the safe after that. This one stayed in the holster. That gas station week has been stuck in my head the whole time. I've been talking about these 5. The part that bothered me most wasn't the 2 guys arguing. It was knowing there'd been a night where I talked myself out of carrying at all. That old pistol went straight into the back of the safe and never came back out. These 5 are the opposite of that mistake. Every one of them has been comfortable enough, controllable enough, and trustworthy enough that I didn't mind clipping it on when I was already tired, sweaty, or late. That's why they're the CCW pistols I'd actually tell you to carry in 2026. And the one that took over my hip full time, the gun that never gave the spot back, was the SIG P365X Macro. Look at your own lineup and ask which pistol honestly deserves that kind of trust. I'm Steve, and if your holster isn't telling the truth about what you really carry, it's time to fix that.